Hi, I'm Kimberly Clark, and welcome to this video, which is all about makeup brushes! Shh. Jesus. Here's the thumbnail. I have not filmed one of these videos for so long. This is part of my All About series. I have two other videos in this series. I have an All About matte lipstick video, and I have an All About highlighter video. Now, I filmed my All About highlighter video after I filmed my highlighter-specific anti-haul video. And my 13th anti-haul video was a makeup brush anti-haul. So I figured it was only fair to film one of these videos about the makeup brushes that I absolutely love. First, before I get into my top 5 makeup brushes, I'm going to talk about a couple things. How I use my makeup brushes when I'm doing makeup, how I store them, and how I clean them. First off, the way I use my makeup brushes when I'm doing my makeup is I keep them in this little jar. This is just like a glass salsa jar. It's like a container for salsa, actually, and I've rinsed it out. These are all my dirty brushes. As I use my brushes when I'm doing my makeup, I will put them in here. Typically, my face brushes kind of live in here. My eye brushes I end up just kind of leaving on my table as I'm doing them. But I find that it's really, really helpful to have a jar to put your brushes in just so you don't lose track of them while you're doing your makeup. If you want extra credit, you could have 2 jars and have 1 jar for all your powder brushes and 1 jar for all your cream brushes. This is so you don't ever accidentally pick up a cream brush and dip it into powder and then smudge your makeup and mess everything up and whatnot. Anyway, you could also separate them between, like, you know, contour highlight, light dark, stuff like that. But you know, for me, I just use 1 jar, it's sufficient, but this seems like such an obvious thing. An extra empty vessel to put your brushes in while you're working is a must. It's a must for me. For storage, all of my makeup brushes are stored in this. This is the Zara Beauty collaboration with Coffee Break with Dani. It is the 5-compartment acrylic organizer. This was a limited edition product. It had the Coffee Break with Dani x Zara logo here. Dani, I'm sorry, I removed it. I took it off with acetone just because it's not that I don't want to support you because I love you, I love you, I love you. You know I love you, but I don't like having extra words everywhere. It's part of the KonMari method. If you haven't watched my video on the KonMari method, check it out, please. But having like extra product labels and stuff that are not helpful for you to actually use the product, it just can be distracting and kind of cluttering. It like just clutters up your world a little bit. So I did remove the Coffee Break with Dani logo. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, honey, but I had to. The good news is it was very easy to remove. I just put some acetone on a cotton round and just wiped it off. It took a couple little, you know, buffs to really get it off. But it was very easy to remove that label. It did not damage the acrylic at all. I think it's great. Now, this was a limited edition product, and I think it's sold out, but Zara, I think, has since made this 5-compartment organizer a permanent thing, and you can buy it without a label. I'm pretty sure that's the only difference between this, the limited edition Coffee Break with Dani version, and the one that's currently on their website right now. I have to double check with that, but I'm pretty sure that's the deal, that you can still get this, just not the special limited edition Coffee Break with Dani version. And you know, I would suggest getting the Coffee Break with Dani version because she's fucking amazing. She's like maybe my favorite YouTuber out there. Just saying. Even if you're gonna rub the label off, I would still support her over not supporting her. You know what I mean? Why not? She's the fucking best. If you don't know who she is, check her out, please. What's wrong with you? Okay, anyway, I've got all my brushes in here. They're divided up from like large powder brushes, smaller powder brushes, shader brushes, blending brushes, extra tools and stuff. Anyway, this is my entire brush collection. If you would like an in-depth overview of my brush collection or like a full brush collection video, I guess, let me know and I might film it someday. Anyway, but just so you know, this is where all my brushes are stored. I keep them right on my desk for easy access. Okay, and then finally, how I clean them. This should not be a surprise. It's the Cinema Secrets brush cleaner. This is the extra large. I think it's the 32 ounce version. Yeah, it's the 32 fluid ounce version. It's just the best makeup brush cleaner. Let me qualify this. So this is how I clean my brushes every time I use them. About once a month, once every few months, I fully wash all my makeup brushes in the sink with soap and water. The soap that I use is Dr. Bronner's Pure Castile oil soap. That is just the best soap that I wash my beauty blender with that too. I wash all my brushes with that. I do that for a deeper clean, but I do wash my makeup brushes every time I use them. I am a ginger, I have very sensitive skin, I break out very easily. Anything that I can do to like help reduce bacteria, I do it. And this is a fabulous, very fast, very efficient, effective makeup brush cleaner. I use this in two different ways. I have some of it, I always keep some of it in this little spray bottle. This is just an old Sephora brush cleaner bottle, but the way I clean my powder brushes is with this spray bottle. I spray the bristles like this, like directly from the top, and then I blot the brush on a microfiber cloth. I prefer to use those instead of paper towels just because I think it's a little bit more environmentally friendly. And then for my other brushes, like my shader brushes and cream brushes and things that have more, like that are denser or have more color in them, I use this. This is a little, it's just like a little dish. It's like a soy sauce dish. I got it at a Japanese market back in New York City, but you could find these anywhere, like any little dish. And what I do is I pour some of this into here. The way you use this brush cleaner, if you don't already know, because who knows, is you dip the tip of your brush into the liquid and it absorbs the liquid via capillary action and it's fabulous. Then I do the same thing. I blot the brush on my microfiber cloth to get all the color out and it's fabulous. Anyway, so that's kind of that's my little backstory on my makeup brushes. Now let us jump into my top 5 makeup brushes. Okay, so first, I always do this. I've got an honorable mention. This is the Flat Iron Eyeliner brush from Jane Iredale. I love this brush so much. As you can see, it is a synthetic brush. It is just a very narrow, flat eyeliner brush. Look how narrow that is. It's just perfect. And the bonus is it has a sponge applicator on the back. The way I use this brush, I used it today, I always use it to correct under my eyebrow with my cream foundation, like my light cream foundation. And I use it to basically erase underneath my brow and like clean up underneath it. This is also really great for cleaning up around the lips, which I feel like I should have done a little bit today, but I didn't. I think it's great for doing a liner too, you know? But I love this brush because it's just so flat and precise and I can get this perfect Slade cut Cutcha brow very easily with this brush. I just love it. I could not do a brush video without mentioning this brush. I've had this ever since I've started doing drag. I've had it for like 3 or 4 or 5 years now. I don't know how long I've been doing drag for. 4 years? 3 years? Couple years. I've had this for a couple years. I got it at just like a beauty supply store in Santa Monica when I was there in California, and I had no idea. I didn't know what this brand was. I didn't know anything. I'm pretty sure Jane Iredale is like cruelty-free organic vegan brand, so there's that. If you have any other brushes of hers that you really like, let me know. Let me know what your faves are. But the freaking eyeliner / brow brush by Jane Iredale, this flat one. It's too good. It's so good. It's perfect. Okay, my top 5 makeup. This is like, it's crazy to put these in like in an order of like best, just because they're all very different. They're used for different uses. But this is the Cosette S120. It is a blush brush, or a powder brush, or a bronzer brush, or whatever the hell you want it for a brush. It is just a beautiful, big, round, domed, slightly tapered, fluffy brush. What I love about the taper of this is that it's fabulous for placing your blush exactly where you want it and then blending it out. I think it's possible, especially if you use very pigmented blushes and you like really love that like me, and you have like a more kind of rounded dome. I think they're great for blending out, but for placing the blush, it's a little tricky because you have to like kind of like be very careful where you place it. This is a little easier to just kind of like aim, place, then squish and blend. Because look how much this spreads out when it blends. It's just like gorgeous. And it's so lovely and soft. I met Rocky Cosetti from this brand at IMATS New York last year. He's such a sweetheart, fabulous. It's just great to support like a really small brand where you could like meet the person who runs it. I just love that. Anyway, so I love this brush, the Cosette S120 brush. It's a beautiful, it's my favorite brush for blush. Number 4 is this. This is the Morphe M509. I've talked about this brush for a really long time. I have mistakenly said it is a synthetic hairbrush in past videos. It is not. I'm pretty sure it's goat hair. It is definitely natural hair. It is just a large teardrop shaped brush. Teardrop, like if you go this way, it looks like a tear. Oh, falling. Oh, a tear. But it is very, very fluffy. It's natural, so it's a little bit stiffer than a synthetic brush, I would say, but it's pretty tapered. This brush I use almost exclusively for highlighting. The reason I love a brush like this for highlighting is the taperedness of it and the fluffiness of it. The Anastasia, I forgot what number it is. There's an Anastasia highlighter brush that looks very much like this. I think it's actually a little smaller than this, but same deal. Like really great for just brushing on that perfect amount of highlight, you know. But what's great about this is its natural bristles, which means that it's really good at picking up stiffer product. My like favorite highlighter of the moment, which I'm not wearing today, but it's similar to what I'm wearing today, is this, the Makeup Forever Pro Light Fusion Highlight in 01. This is that gelée formula. It's like not quite a powder, not quite a cream, but it's very like hard. Like it's not, there's no kick up in the pan. It's not very fluffy or powdery or whatever. Look at that. I mean, come on. A lot of people have problems with formulas like these because their brushes are too soft to actually pick up any product. If you're having that problem with any product, whether it's a Extra Dimension eyeshadow by MAC or the gelée thing from Estee Lauder, any kind of that like gelée product, if you're having trouble picking it up, try using a natural hair brush because the hair is just a lot stiffer on natural hair bristles, and especially if it's like from a goat like this, it's pretty freaking stiff. If you ever pet a goat, they're pretty rough, right? So their hair is a little bit more like tough and spiky than a synthetic brush like this Cosette brush, which is a synthetic brush. The way I highlight, as you can see, is like tops of the cheeks, a little bit in the middle of the nose, not a ton of places. I don't need a very narrow highlighting brush. If you've watched a lot of my channel before, you know that like I don't like to place the line and then blend out. I like to like place shit where it's gonna go, right? And so the fact that this is bigger and fluffier allows me to really just like place, buff in one, done in one, buff in one and done. Yay, number 3. Number 4? Number 4! Okay, number 3. I can't decide if this should be number 2 or number 3, but I'm just gonna put in number 3 because it's not something that's like available for anyone to purchase or what, or I don't even know. It's gonna be number 3, it's this. This is the double-ended shader brush that comes with the Urban Decay electric palette, which is now discontinued. I use this brush every single time I do my makeup. The shader brush is so, the length of the bristles is so lovely. They're like stiff, but the amount that they fluff and wiggle is just like perfect. And then the double-ended brush, the other side, it's just a very precise yet domed detail brush. It's not angled or harsh or anything. I use this brush to place my crease color, blend it out, and then define my crease even deeper. This is the only brush that I use for placing my crease shades. And then I, of course, use a blending brush, which I'll talk about in a minute, to really finish up the eye. But I've tried other shader brushes. People are like, oh yeah, that's just like a regular shader brush. You could find tons of brushes that look exactly like that. Maybe, but I've said it before, if Urban Decay manufactured this brush on its own, I would purchase it. I would purchase 10 of them. It's my favorite brush. I can't believe it's held up as long as it has. The ferrule's wiggling. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but she has done so well. It's my only Urban Decay brush that I own. Every time Urban Decay has come out with a palette, I've looked and seen if the brush is the same. It's never been the same. I think maybe the only other palette that has the same brush is the After Dark palette. I'm not gonna buy that palette just to get this brush, but I've thought about it. I really have. Because this brush is just so good. It's my favorite brush. Wendy, I know I'm such an asshole to you. I know I talk so much shit about your brand so much, but honestly, if you made this brush a permanent part of your line, I'd get 10 drag queens to buy it because it's so perfect for placing a crease and then placing it, blending it a little bit because this is such a beautiful, the springiness of it is so perfect. It's perfect for, it's tight and perfect for placing a very precise amount of product and then just like buffing it out a little bit. Then really defining the bottom of that crease with the definer end and then also just blending, like it's just so, Okay, I have to put it away because it's only number 3. We haven't even gotten to number 2 or number 1. Oh my god, let's go. This is another brush that I got at IMATS when I was there last year in New York. This is the Delium Tools 990 brush. Honey. Recently I've tried doing the contour with the fan brush, a la Nikki Tutorials. Hey girl! I've done that before, which I like. But honestly, my favorite way to contour is with this brush. Like I've also said a couple times in this video, I don't like to do the line of powder or cream or whatever and then buff it out with a brush. No. If I can place and blend like with the same brush, like the Cosette brush, I will do it. That's exactly what this brush is for me. Everyone does their contour differently. They like different kind of finishes, blends, placement, and stuff like that. For me, I put my contour slightly higher than my actual cheek contour because I'm trying to feminize my face and change the structure of it, so that's why I do that. But I don't like to do the harsh kind of white baked line underneath that a lot of drag queens do. A lot of non-drag queens do it too. It's fine, totally fine. I like to have a little bit more of a diffuse contour. And I find that this type of angled brush is perfect for it. Now, I've used many angled brushes in the past for my contour. I've used this, the little e.l.f. angled powder brush. I've even used, there's a Morphe angled powder brush somewhere. Where is it? There's even this, there's a Morphe angled powder brush. I've always gravitated towards brushes like this, which are, you know, fluffy, have like a kind of oval footprint like that, but have this angle. And the angle is really helpful just, you know, for ergonomics. Like it's helpful to hold in this angle and place. It also allows you to, if you're moving downward, to kind of have the blend get more diffuse as you move down towards the front of your face. Because the shorter bristles have less wiggle room, right? And the longer bristles, the back, are a little bit more diffuse. So actually, the brush helps you do that angled spread of the contour very easily. At least I think it does. So this is an angled contour brush with a pinched ferrule, right? So the ferrule is this part of the brush that the bristles are glued into and it attaches it to the base, the handle. Now, these angled brushes, the ferrule is pinched a little bit. It's narrower than it is wide. But I have not seen a brush that's ferrule is this pinched. Look, it's even more pinched than the e.l.f. brush, which is so much smaller than it. Isn't that adorable? This is the Delium Tools right here. Because it's pinched so much, it means that the bristles are more dense here and spread out more, which means they're a little more fluffy than this. These are just denser brushes. It's actually the biggest angled contour brush that I have, but the least dense, if that makes sense. The way I use this is I get my contour powder on it, and then I stamp it, basically. And because it's so fluffy, the stamping really kind of blends it. If you've ever done contour and, you know, you start doing your contour and you have like just a big smear and you're like, no, I've ruined my face, no. Try using one of these brushes to do your contour, just because applying it makes it very soft, very diffuse, and then blending it is the same thing. It's just very easy, very diffuse, simple, soft, gorgeous. I also love using this brush for bronzer, spreading out bronzer on my neck, buffing, blending, patting, all the various techniques of makeup wizardry I use with this brush. It's just fabulous. Number 2 favorite brush, Delium Tools 990. Boom. Okay, finally, I love e.l.f. They're an awesome brand. They're an international brand, but they're based in New York City. They have e.l.f. studio stores. If you live in New York City, you gotta go to e.l.f. They're fabulous. Eyes, lips, face. They're cruelty-free. They're pretty amazing. I love a lot of brushes from them. Some of my highlights are the slanted kabuki brush. I think it's a couple different names. Fabulous for just dusting off powder. I also absolutely can't live without the e.l.f. small angled brush. This is just the perfect angled liner brush. I also use this to clean up my nails with acetone. Not this brush, but another one of these to clean up my nail art. Also fabulous for that. But one brush by this brand has changed my life. It came out a couple years ago, and I remember seeing it in the store and being like, I've never really heard of this. I picked it up and I was like, why has no one talked about this brush? It is the best makeup brush. It's the best brush. It's so good. Ugh. It's this. This is the e.l.f. crease brush. This is a blending brush. It is a synthetic blending brush. It is like a small teardrop domed blending brush with kind of longish bristles that are really lovely. They stick up pretty stiffly, but it's nice and soft. The reason that this is my favorite makeup brush ever and my favorite blending brush ever is that the size of this is so tiny. Just to compare, here is a Morphe blending brush. This is the Morphe M441. And here is a MAC 217. Now the MAC 217 is slightly different. It has a pinched ferrule. It's a little bit more flat than these guys. But just look at this area. Can you see this? The e.l.f. brush is just so much smaller. I mean, if you turn the MAC 217 to the side, it's similar. But MAC 217 is like a directional brush, right? You gotta use it in the right direction. But these guys are not. This is the Morphe M441 and the e.l.f. crease brush. They are just completely symmetrical. They're just round, as you can see. But it's just so small and perfect. It's just absolutely perfect. The way that I use this is after I apply my crease with my Holy Grail Urban Decay double-sided shader brush, I use this to blend it out. Now, you may think my makeup is not subtle or precise or anything. You think I might be a sloppy drag queen with tons of shit on my face. But I really like a precise blend, especially with the crease. Because honestly, I'm working with a huge crease, but a very small under brow bone highlight because I put my brows wherever I want them to be. And I've been putting them lower and lower just because I want to look a little bit more natural. I love a smaller brush so I could really blend out and not worry too much about getting way up there and messing up that brow bone highlight color, right? It's just so beautiful for building the crease, building the depth of the crease. This is fabulous. It's fabulous for applying shadow and blending and buffing it out. It's fabulous for just buffing out shadow that's already placed. It was a total life changer for me. Like, I don't think I blended my eyeshadow properly and or at all until I purchased this brush. Yes, I had a MAC 217 before, but for some reason the natural bristles on this, like, it's just a little too wily. It's just not super tapered and stay put. I've had this one for a while and she doesn't get like, crazy troll hair bristles or whatnot. She stays pretty springy, pretty narrow and tight, and absolutely gorgeous and soft. I just love this brush so much. Look at the springiness of it. But you could be so precise and not place it very far and just get a very precise blend, or go really, really far in and get a much more diffuse blend. It's just so versatile. Also, this brush is like $3. This is $3. The Holy Grail makeup brush, $3. Cheapest of all the brushes that I've just mentioned. Absolutely stunning, fabulous. Honestly, it's the best crease brush ever. It's the best blending brush ever. I think it's the best makeup brush ever. I don't know why more people haven't talked about this. The e.l.f. crease brush. Do yourself a favor. If you're doing makeup, if you blend anything, especially in your eye area, and you haven't found the perfect blending brush, try this brush. If you're just starting out and just getting into makeup, this is a perfect staple. It's super affordable, not a lot of commitment. It's just absolutely fabulous, gets the job done, and I think is just the best at doing the job of blending a crease, or anything. It's just fabulous. e.l.f. crease brush, best makeup brush. #1, it's the best. Yay! Oh, that was my all about makeup brushes video. Yay! I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like this series. I know a lot of people love my anti-hauls and a lot of times are like, well, what do you like? What do you buy? What are the things that you actually like? Here's the series to show you those things. If you're interested in seeing more of this, please give me a thumbs up. If you're really interested in making these videos happen, consider making a per video donation to me on Patreon. All the info is down below for that. Thank you so much for everybody that is a Patreon patron of mine. I love you so much. These videos happen because of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Check out my other videos. Check out the other videos in my All About series. And of course, you know them, you love them, my anti-hauls. Check out the companion video to this, my brush anti-haul, to see, you know, the brushes that I'm just like not having, can't be dealing with. It's just the way it is. Ugh. I do love brushes, just not all of them, as you may know. Anyway, I'm Kimberly Clark. Bye.